everybody. I'm Larry Ridley, and this is the NFL on EA Sports. Today's game will feature a team that loves getting it done through the air. The 49ers are top 10 in passing TDs, and they'll go against the Cardinals, who are very aware of what they'll be dealing with. With that, we'll send it over to Brandon Guyton and Charles Davis. They've got the call in this Week 5 matchup.
All right, Larry, from the heart of Silicon Valley, there's a look inside Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. Today, we've got a good NFC matchup on tap between the Arizona Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers. They come out here in the eye. First carry for Carlos Hyde. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down. Shift together here from the D-line. On second down, Hyde. He can't bring him down.
The weight room does work.
9 good yards there on the run, and now third down.
On a second and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run the football and gain enough yardage to put themselves in a good spot on third down.
First down coming there on the intermediate passing play. That's been a point of emphasis, they told us in practice, using those medium routes to keep the defense off balance.
And it wasn't just them telling us. We got to watch them practice it and work on it because they've been trying to fine-tune it and get it right before this game. And I think they have to be happy with the result.
So they took a shot on first down but couldn't connect. And here's the headshots for the offense, and Carlos Hyde, a talented back,
has taken over as the lead runner. A terrific talent. Can batter you inside, but has more speed than what you expect to take it the distance.
Offense looking to avoid a third and long. It's second and 10. Now a run with Hyde. And he'll get this up to about the 38-yard line. Just a gain of a yard there, and now it'll be third down. And the 11 defensive starters for Arizona.
Patrick Peterson is almost an anomaly at cornerback. A big, thick, physical guy who can run with any receiver in the league.
Here comes the D swarming to the line. On third down, Bradford. Looking for Jones, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Tyvon Branch.
Well, surprise, surprise, partner. No, we know it's not a surprise. When you try to complete a pass against this Cardinals defense, there's a reason that they are known as the no-fly zone.
They'll come out in the pistol. The first carry now. This is Johnson. And he's brought down. It'll go as a gain of 10 there. And it's good enough for an Arizona first.
And that run was what a lot of people call an explosive run. Gave them good yardage, solid yardage. They feel good about the whole thing, and they did it behind a 2 tight end set. It's always interesting to watch what offenses want to do with the 2 tight ends. Sometimes they line them up together for a power set. Sometimes they put one on each side of the line of scrimmage to balance things out. No matter what, though, when you see 2 tight ends on the field, your first thought is to think and run. In this case, the offense was able to run successfully.
Flushed out right. Incomplete. The intended receiver was David Johnson, and it's third down. And a look now at the defensive starters for San Francisco.
Eric Armstead was a big-time high school basketball player turned into college football All-American. Now they're counting on him in the NFL to fulfill his promise.
And able to find John Brown. And they'll get 14 yards out of it and a fresh set of downs.
And fit's the exact right word. Over the middle, there's almost always traffic, so anytime you're a receiver in that area, you're not just focused on catching the football. You're wondering where the collision's going to come from, right? Because there's almost always someone there able to concentrate, catch it, and even added a little extra at the end with a short run.
Let's go.
Bridgewater again. And he rifles one incomplete. Demetrius Harris, the intended target. And it's third down. And here comes play number 6 on this drive. On third down, Bridgewater. And now on the pitch, the ball's loose. And now this is scooped up by the 49ers.
With no running backs in the backfield to help pass protect, all the receivers in their patterns, it's going to be hot routes. If they sense a blitz or pressure on the quarterback, they've got to be prepared to break routes off early and get the football. In this case, never even had a chance. They popped the ball free in the backfield.
Here's Hyde as they begin on the ground. And he's going to be stopped up quickly here. Just a yard up to the 39. On play action, Bradford. And that's going to be incomplete. Vance McDonald, the tight end, was the target. And that'll make it third down.
But there was no trace of nervousness there. He was able to diagnose that play from his linebacker position, stay in excellent coverage, and bat the ball away.
Bradford from the gun on third down. Going for the deep ball. And he can't come up with a pick. Nearly his second of the game. Instead, fourth down. Well, he just threw an interception last drive. Nearly another pick.
And things aren't very even right now, are they? It's a little bit sloppy out there, isn't it? It's kind of the difference between driving on those paved roads and those country roads that have those potholes in them, isn't it? So that's the way this game's going right now. A lot of bouncy bounce to it.
You spent some time on some Tennessee country roads.
I certainly have. Plenty of family back there. God love them.
So out now come the Cardinals. And they got across the 50 last time, but fumbled and turned it over, so they'll be looking to have a short-term memory here, Mr. Davis.
Not only a short-term memory, but a whole lot better ball security.
And now the rookie's free. The 30, 10, touchdown, Cardinals. Their dangerous wide receiver, 92 yards. And the Cardinals have taken the early lead. And when a Hail Mary is completed for a touchdown pass like that, I think any defensive coordinator just puts their face right into their hands.
I don't think there's any doubt about it, and I don't have stats in front of me. I don't have the empirical numbers that say that in recent years the Hail Mary pass has been completed more than it has been, but it feels that way, doesn't it? And I know the defenses are spending more time on it. I think the biggest mistake they make is that they play everything from behind the receiver. I think they've got to start getting people in front as well to try and knock the ball away.
Bradford on first down. Quick hitter here, it's complete. The completion good for 3, and it's second down. And the back goes into motion. Second down, Bradford. He dumps it to Hyde. And he'll be brought down right around the 37. 6 yards on the pickup, and that is going to set up a 3rd and 1.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
On the sneak, Bradford. Just a gain of a couple, but good enough to keep the drive rolling.
Well, they pick it up on 3rd and 1 on the quarterback sneak, and that's not easily done because there are extra bodies in there on the defensive side, and they're moving forward at the snap.
Yeah, I was certainly expecting a handoff, weren't you?
Yeah, I totally was. I thought they'd go with a back, maybe try and get a lead blocker in front. But as you talk about in different games, those guys with confidence in their offensive line, they just want to move forward and get it.
Oh, hit as he throws there, incomplete.
He's now exactly had a banner start to this game. We're still in the first quarter. He's already thrown an interception, and that should have been the second one.
Play fake. Bradford. He's got time in the pocket. Dancing to his left. And he'll slide down to avoid the contact. Third and 4. And they're definitely showing blitz here. An extra DB added here for the Cards on third.
Blitz or play coverage.
To throw is Bradford. And that is incomplete.
And I think the end result, knocking the ball away, was a product of understanding where they were on the field, understanding how many yards they needed to pick up the first down, and tightening their coverage accordingly. Gave them no gaps, no spaces, no real air in which to catch the football, and end up making a really nice play.
And this is going to carry well. Into the end zone for a touchback. Arizona getting ready to go as they take the field. And last time the formula was pretty simple. One play drive, long pass. That maybe they just want to do that again, right?
And that's exactly how you want to draw things up. Whether it's on your grease board, right, in your playbook, one play drive's exactly what you want on offense. What they have to be careful of is not having a letdown. It was real easy last time. They can't expect that going forward.
Yeah, we'll see if it's that easy here. Bridgewater now looking to throw on first. Underneath for Johnson. Call it a 1-yard gain on the play, and it'll make it a second down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
Give him 6 yards on the carry. It's going to be 3rd and 3 now.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball, but when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game. This is Johnson. He's got it. And he gets it to the 32. Good enough for a first down.
It's a nice job hitting him on the angle route there. Coming out of the backfield, cutting sharply across the middle. And that's good timing between the quarterback and his receiver.
Effective 3rd down play to move the chains. A first down carry here for Johnson. And he'll get this up only to about the 33. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
A 1-yard gain can look like a disaster. It all depends on how the game is going. Is it a series of 1-yard gains running the ball? If that's the case, you might have to start thinking about throwing it a little bit more. But if it's just the occasional 1-yard run, hey, congratulations to the defense. They won that one. Come back and get them the next time. It's a tried-and-true formula, and I don't think it'll change for as long as we play football. If someone's trying to throw the ball and you can put pressure on them and make it tough, that's only going to help your defense.
Yeah, he's since being hurried. He got rid of it before taking the hit, but incomplete. On 3rd down, Bridgewater. A bullet throw, but incomplete. So on 4th down, here's Jake Shum to punt it away. This will be fielded at the 17. An 8-yard return there after a punt of 47. And the Niners will go on offense, 1st and 10. The San Francisco offense getting their last-minute instructions before they take over here. And last time out, they had to punt the football away. Anything positive possibly to take from that?
There always is when you're punting the football away. It doesn't sound like it because you're giving it up, but you've avoided a mistake.
At least you didn't turn it over,
You didn't turn it over, right? You're giving your defense a chance because you're punting the ball away, and they're set to go on the field as opposed to sudden change after a turnover, and wow, now we've got to go out there and stop people. So, yeah, there's always something positive to be gained from it.
Second quarter now. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis with you. It's the 49ers in control of the football. They've got a 2nd down at 5 here to start things out. And the D looking like they may blitz. Now Bradford on second down. And he fires one that's intercepted. There he goes left side. And they will score. It's a pick six for the Cardinals touchdown. Short throw pick six right there. Those linebackers, they love when those short throws come and those eyes get real wide, don't they?
How about the anticipation on the play? Reading, reacting, and then the ability to catch the football and take it in the opposite direction.
So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six. And now the kick is away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. And San Francisco gets set to go here. First down, Bradford. Try to lay one up deep. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
But depending on the team, they call that an explosive play or a chunk play, the one that they got on the previous one. They tried to go back and get another one, didn't they?
They did, but unsuccessful on that second attempt. On second down, Bradford again. And he connects with Vance McDonald. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything and catch the balls we just saw there.
Second down, and the offense needing 5 yards. They come out 5 wide, 3 of them to the right side. To throw, Bradford. Caught left side, Garcon. It's a 7-yard gain there, and it's good enough to move the chains.
He decided to run a hitch route. It really helps to have a guy who can turn it loose. And, boy, he rifled one in there on that one. Not much run after catch, but it worked really well.
Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete. Carlos Hyde was the target. That'll bring up second down.
The good signal callers will never go back in the huddle and play the blame game because they need those guys to protect him. But on that last one, his offensive line, they lost their leverage very quickly, and that's why they were able to get to him and hit him as he tried to throw the football and force an incompletion.
And his throw is incomplete. And the offense looks to pick up the first here on third after that incompletion. On third down, Bradford. And that will be incomplete as well. Pierre Garcon, the intended receiver. And it's fourth down.
Let's give some credit to the defensive guys on that play. Able to bat that one away. Sure looked like they were trying to hit the corner route.
And this kick is not going to be close. It's well short, well right to boot. And this score will stay right where it is.
Well, this winds up an empty possession. Everything looked okay. He just never got the ball on target. And knowing him, he'll be disappointed with that effort.
Brown, the lone receiver left. Bridgewater. And Brate, the tight end's got it. That throw good for 4. It's second down.
Well, the strategy was evident there. Get it to your tight end and make it a one-on-one play with a cornerback. Who's usually going to win that one?
The tight end, but not there.
Not in this situation. How about the corner defeating that logic and making a really nice tackle?
A second down throw for Bridgewater. It's complete to Jerron Brown. And he's brought down. And the play goes for 19 yards. Gives him a new set of downs. So here we go, 1st and 10 now. So an excellent throw and an excellent catch there.
Zone coverage, which means you just have to find the open areas in between defenders. That's exactly what happened on that play.
And he is going to lose yardage here. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be second down.
Well, in that play, the expression, don't blink, you might miss something, certainly applied. That was fast. Defense diagnosed the play, and it was over in a heartbeat.
And the D-line pinching together must be expecting the run. Bridgewater to throw it. Man open left side is Brown. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's third down. Got to get to the 26 for a first. This is third down. They come out 5 wide, 3 of them to the right side. On third down, Bridgewater eluding the pressure right. Completes it to Spencer Ware. And he will have the first down across the 20 to the 19-yard line. And the offense lining up 1st and 10. They come up in an offset eye. They go play action here on 1st down. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
When defenses get to the quarterback that quickly, a lot of times it's called a jailbreak. It wasn't quite that fast, but fast enough that he had no time to look downfield and set himself to throw the ball. And as he tried to do that, he was hit, and it forced an incompletion.
They come out here in the eye. In motion left here, one of their tight ends. On 2nd down, Johnson. And stopped a few yards shy of the goal line at the 3. Now we've got whistles and a timeout here. Yeah, looks like we've got a 49er that's down on the field. We'll check on his status when we get back. Following the penalty, it's Johnson. And cuts out right sideline. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. David Johnson, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Cardinals now adding on to their lead. Zerline now for the PAT. And it is now 21-0. Now after the touchdown, it's Zerline. He'll kick it away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. And now the 49er offense ready to go and getting back out onto the field. Last time out, they had that long 50-plus yard field goal that they missed.
And I'm sure on their sideline they're thinking to themselves, okay, do we still want to try one if we're in that position again? And I would dare say that the answer would be yes. They're going to have a lot of confidence in their kicker. But just to be on the safe side, I'm sure they told their offensive guys, can we get a little bit closer this time?
Closer.
Yeah, you know, I'd rather get in the end zone first and foremost. But if all else fails, less of a field goal attempt for him.
2nd down following the run. Again, it's Hyde. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. They call it a gain of 19, and it moves the chains.
Whenever we meet with coaches and they always talk about wanting to establish running the football, it's oftentimes with a good tight end who can control the line of scrimmage and the point of attack, and they're becoming harder.
And eventually taken down here. Great coverage downfield. Robert Kimdichie able to run him down for a loss of a yard.
Well, Brandon, sometimes I think when we watch games, we're actually watching a living museum because we're seeing the evolution of positions almost with each passing game. How about defensive ends nowadays and the way that they can run almost all the way across the field?
It is unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, they're so strong, but they're so lean they can move so quick with those bodies.
It's almost unfair. You're supposed to be able to know where a defensive end is supposed to be on every play. These guys flash so quickly, you're not sure where they're going to end up.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. Escaping the pressure right. And he's just going to throw this one out of bounds here. Nowhere to go with it. Incomplete.
I hope I don't sound too rah-rah on that one, but that's the exact right throw. Either your receiver gets it or no one gets it. Give him a lot of credit for being really precise with it.
Got rid of it. No one got it. Throwing again. Bradford on 2nd and 10. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked off by Tyvon Branch. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. And the Cardinals offense here ready to take over. And they were able to punch it in the end zone last time. They'll be looking to do that again here for the defense. Obviously, they'll be looking to stop them from punching it back in the end zone.
It always is punch-counter-punch, isn't it? And which team has the advantage? Well, let's just go back. Last time on offense, they rolled downfield, got into a good rhythm. You can see a little more bounce in and out of the huddle. You can see the sideline really get into the game. So defensively, you're thinking to yourself,
he's got a man complete. A huge play there for Arizona. 42 yards. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Back with more after this. Fresh set of downs here. Bridgewater now looking to throw on first. Underneath for Johnson. And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49. Give him 6 on the play, and that'll bring up second down.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
Possible run anticipation here as the D-line sandwiches together. Here's Bridgewater. And he whips that one incomplete there. Incomplete pass on second down. Let's see what the offense draws up here on third.
Let's go. Way 90. Way 90.
Bridgewater from the gun on third down. It's complete to Brown, right side. Evades the tackler, and now some space. That one goes for 36 yards.
As we continue to advance in the NFL, as people continue to scout players, they really don't care as much about body types as they care about those guys who can make people miss, run through tackles, and gain all that additional run after catch. Anybody has that ability, they want them on their team.
That one good for 10 yards. And it'll be second and very short. And now with that completion, he's north of 200 yards here in the first half.
And he's going to break our statistician, Marvin, isn't he? Because Marvin right now is just tallying it up. Hope his hand doesn't hurt too much doing this, or keeps it.
And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Aaron Lynch in there to get him for a loss of 5. Third down, Johnson. And they'll lose yardage here. They go back. And now the 49ers signal for a timeout defensively. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. And Zerline's kick is good. And that stretches this lead even further. It's now 24-0. So the drive stalls out, but they are able to put 3 points on the board.
Yeah, just a yard or two shorter than an extra point, so no problems converting there.
And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The 49ers offense now, they work their way back onto the field. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team. Right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you've got to figure, if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing risk, this is a big decision here.
And he's taken down, but not before he gets this into enemy territory across the 40. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. Play action now. Bradford. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked off by Tyvon Branch. And his guys are going to take over at the 21-yard line. Arizona getting ready to go as they take the field. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
A good pickup there at 22.
And having built that kind of a lead, they're able to do whatever they want right now. All momentum on their side, especially now running the football.
Yeah, you're talking about a defense being on their toes. They don't know what's going to hit them next at this point.
No, they went from toes to heels, and they're trying to figure out how to get back to the toes part.
They stay on the ground on first with Johnson. And he'll get this across midfield to the 48. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. And after the play on the ground, that brings up second down here. Again, we'll see the pistol here. Play fake. Bridgewater. Going up top. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half. And the 49ers getting set to trot out there. And from this spot in the field with the clock where it's at, you think we're just going to see a knee and that's it?
And I think in this situation, that's the proper play. But we do know there's some risk takers out there that may want to take one more shot before the clock runs out.
They start the drive with Hyde. And he's got room. And they're able to get this one across the 35. So we have reached halftime with the visiting Cardinals out in front. As we send you cross-country to our EA Sports Studios in Orlando with our halftime report, here's Larry Ridley. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. So here's the Cardinals offense now as they get set to start this third quarter. Looked like they had something going last drive. Then the interception happened. Will they recover?
The memory they need to keep with them is that they did have something going. They were moving the ball on offense, had a nice sequence going. Don't worry about the other part. You can't get that back. Let's go back to what you were doing well before.
I thought you were going to say they need to have no memory, but remember the good part, forget the bad.
I like that even better.
And that was incomplete, but I don't know how much of that falls on the quarterback. He was pressured.
Brandon, the rush showed up so fast, the quarterback had no chance to get the ball downfield.
Throwing again, Bridgewater on 2nd and 10. Dumping it off for Johnson. It's a 10-yard pickup, and it moves the chains.
I think the best offenses love to get the ball to their running backs in open space because they have the ability to make people miss, and they also have the ability to run over people. And if you do that throughout the game, after a while, they might just run through some of those tackles and go a long way.
Well, we saw him shed a nice tackle on that play. Bridgewater. He's going to get this one out to his fullback. And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. So the D-line's going to spread out. Out of the gun, Bridgewater. Over the middle, Jerron Brown's got it. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. So they complete the pass, and now they face a second down. And again, it's Bridgewater. And seeing nowhere to throw, he chucks this one away from harm. Incomplete. Now it's third down.
Well, the great coach has said football is really a simple game. Rush theirs, protect yours. And he's talking about those guys throwing the football. In this situation, the rush one, hitting the quarterback and forcing him into an incompletion.
An extra DB for the 49ers now on third. Third and long for Bridgewater. And this is going to be incomplete. That one was intended for John Brown. And fourth down coming up. Here's Jacob Shum now as he'll kick it away for the second time. Fair catch called for and made, but now we'll have to see about the penalty. Oh, and you just can't do that. 15 yards on the roughing the kicker call.
Absolutely inexcusable. The kicker's in a defenseless position, and he just gets taken out.
First down and 10 now for the offensive group. They'll run it now out of the gun. And some room to roam now. And he's going to be brought down inside the 45 at the 43.
Really tough drive, but that run help salvage something there, because now there's something positive that came out of it. They got to see good blocking, good push by the offensive line, wide receivers trying to get involved, a good run by the back. And now maybe it'll be a catalyst for them to look at going forward, watching it on tape. Maybe they can keep incorporating that type of a run into their offense.
Off the corner, where'd he come from? Well, I guess he came off the corner, but really nice play.
I like when you're able to pose a question and answer it at the same time. That's exactly where he came from, but it's not something that you normally see. Most of the time, we're thinking about those guys covering pass catchers. In this case, he was a big factor in the run game, no gain.
On the toss, here's Johnson. And he'll take it inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
You know how we get focused at end of the half and end of the game situations about how much time's on the board and, you know, what you need to do? Sometimes you don't even have to worry about that. That's just smart football. You know, that kind of a lead, staying in bounds, it burns clock, even in a situation that we're not really focused on it.
Give him 10 yards on that one, and that'll earn him a fresh set of downs.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there, freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
And only able to muster a couple down to about the 27. The tackle by Eric Armstead.
Some of the most unselfish players on any football team, defensive tackles, because we ask them to just eat up blocks and allow other people to make tackles. But when he can make a play himself, as we just saw there, that's a big day.
Throwing, Bridgewater. And that one is incomplete. He just dropped it. But they're up big on the scoreboard, so maybe he can chuckle about later.
We know it's not an easy job to go out and catch passes when people are trying to tackle you and knock the ball away. But the bottom line is, that's a pass he's got to have and a pass he should have caught.
And on third down, a nickel formation here defensively. Now a carry here for their fullback. And not much of a hole there as he gets it down to about the 24-yard line. Give him 3 yards there as that'll take us to fourth down. So out comes the field goal team now for the second time here today. He connected on his first, this from 41. And Zerline's kick is good. And the lead increases even further. It's 27-0 now. So they get 3. They were hoping for 6. An unlucky number 13 play drive.
Well, you go to the sideline after putting 3 points on the board, happy, but you wanted to be ecstatic. You wanted to have 6 on the board. On the opposite sideline, though, the defense, I think they're high-fiving each other, only giving up 3 after letting them run that much offense.
A 10th carry for Hyde. And not too much going there as he'll get it up to the 23-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
That's a good play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Held him to a gain of 2. And that changes the playbook a little bit now for the guy calling plays. 2nd and 8. Now he's got to probably think about going to the air instead of maybe staying with the ground game.
Here's Bradford. He sets to fire deep. And now here is another interception. A great read, and it's picked off. And his crew will take over at their own 45-yard line. And the Cardinals getting set to trot out there now. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had the field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle for 3, except in certain situations, trying to ice a game, that sort of deal. Most of the time, it's end zone, and that's what you're thinking, and I believe that's exactly what they're thinking as they begin this one.
Yeah, no quarterback ever goes out there saying, hey, let's get 3, right?
Not one that I've ever met.
They pitch it out to Johnson. And he'll be taken down just shy of midfield after a gain of about 4.
I know the toss play begins with the guy taking the snap and turning around and tossing it to the runner. But where the real intrigue is, can they seal the edge? Whether it's an offensive tackle or a tight end in the direction they want to run the football. If they do that, that's the result that you get, that type of a gain. If they don't, oftentimes it's not a very successful play. Putting pressure on the guy throwing the football is always good, but when you can couple that with contact on him that leads to an incompletion, as we just saw there, that's winning football. He's going to field this at the 4.
Very tough spot here for the offense to start. High. And they'll get him down up past the 15, just shy of the 20. 12 yards on the pickup, and it'll be first down 49ers.
Man, these guys may not win this ball game, but you certainly can't fault the effort of this man here today. He's been a real thorn in their sides all afternoon. And that last carry puts him over the 100-yard mark.
Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Well, praise has to go to the guys on the offensive line because they've had a very nice, productive day running the football. How about that poor defensive line? They've been knocked around the entire game, and while they slowed them down on that run, can they continue to do so? Because they haven't had much success throughout this ball game.
Now Bradford on 2nd down. Over the middle to Garcon. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down. 3rd down now following the completed pass. And they're going to hurry back to the line now. Bradford from the gun on 3rd down. And too much juice. It'll be out of bounds, incomplete.
I'm not sure we can spot any tendency here on this 3rd down. They could have run it or passed it. Either one was available. They chose to try and get it through the air, but they were unsuccessful.
And he gets this away, angled for the sideline with a lot behind it. Wow. And they'll play keep away from the returner as this one will be marked out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Pretty good spot. The Cardinals offense now works their way back onto the field. And last time they were very fortunate, this offense. They went for it on 4th, turned it over in their own territory, but the other guys held up. They didn't give up any points.
So how about the guy with the #1 headset on the sidelines, the head coach? That was planned going into it, not necessarily to not get the first down or to have the defense have to hold
But he
up.
trusted his defense.
Trusted his defense very much, and I think that that's how he's going to play this game. Go for it, be aggressive, because I've got the Wild Bunch backing me up over here on my own sideline.
Now we'll see what his offense can do. It got his man complete. A huge play there for Arizona. 41 yards.
Now, that play will end up on the highlights, and you'll see it all over the place. But what you won't see, the offensive line that bought the extra time, that allowed for the big completion downfield, those guys made that play possible.
And Blake, the tight end's got it. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down. A pass for negative yardage, obviously no good. Maybe he shouldn't have thrown it, or maybe he shouldn't have caught it.
And I think we were seeing it at the same time, weren't we? Maybe you let that one go, right? Because you can see the lost yardage about to develop. But that goes against every instinct of a receiver. They're taught to catch everything. So it's really hard to be mad at him and yell at him for trying to make that play. It's always tough trying to keep your guy upright when he's trying to throw the football. When you're dealing with those big, bad guys on the defensive front, it's even tougher. And this time, those guys on the opposite side won the battle, getting to the quarterback and knocking him into an incompletion.
It's complete to Brown, right side. The completion good for only 6, and that'll bring up 4th.
Whether you're playing West Coast offense or not, one of the maxims of the West Coast offense is you're either throwing a touchdown or a check down. In other words, look for the big shot, but be smart. I think they did exactly that on that play. They didn't get the first down, but they're taking care of the ball well.
Yeah, and being rightly cautious with that lead here in the second half. The play clock's running down. And they're not going to get the snap off. This might back him out of field goal range. Here's Jacob Shum now as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. And it's taken in at the 9. 35 yards that time on the punt. And the Niners are going to take possession, albeit deep in their own territory. The 49ers offense now, they get set to head back on the field. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the punter no longer exists for their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
Back now here in Santa Clara. A lot of folks starting to make their way to the parking lot. Their guys trail big here to begin quarter number 4. See if they stay on the ground for second down. Second down, Bradford. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-armed guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
And a nice pitch and catch to pick up the reception against man coverage.
Both of them read how much yardage they needed, figured what they had to do, and were able to beat the man coverage for the completion.
And he overshot him there. It's out of bounds, incomplete.
There's so much precision in an offense, especially when you're throwing the ball. And in an out route, plenty of it. How about the quarterback hitting his back foot, balls out of his hands, receiver making his break, making his cut. He's got to time up perfectly. Not always easy to do.
Just let him a little too much.
Yeah, I remember back in the good old days, I was talking to a quarterback, and he said everything they did was on the count system. So when he took a snap, he counted in his head for certain routes, different time frames for each one, and he knew if the ball wasn't out of his hand at that point, he'd better eat it because the play was dead.
A nice pick up there, 10 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
Would it be safe to say that as precise as routes are supposed to be run in the NFL, maybe they're not quite as precise in college ball?
That's accurate, yeah.
And I think we saw a college route in the NFL there. Just find the soft spot, find the dead zone, and find the first down. And that's what he just did.
20 yards on the pickup there. And it'll be a San Francisco first down. And the offense moving quickly to the line. Now Bradford. This will be caught at about the 6. 5 yards on the catch there. Brings up second down. They come out 5 wide. 3 of them to the right side. To the air again with Bradford. That's caught at the 2. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down.
Got to give credit where it's due. Really nice defense on that play. The pitch and catch was successful, but not any run after it.
9th play coming up here on this drive. This is 3rd and a yard. And some extras coming up on the line here, readying for the blitz. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. Now we've got whistles and a timeout here. Yeah, looks like we've got a 49er that's down on the field. So Sam Bradford forced to leave this ball game. And they'll hand things over to and he'll take this into the end zone for a San Francisco touchdown. Carlos Hyde, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And the 49ers get a score closer. And they will line up now for the 2-point try. They'll run for him with Hyde. And he got it on the touchdown run, but he won't get in here. He'll be stopped short, and they'll come up empty on the try for 2. After the touchdown, it's Robbie Gould now to kick it away. Marshall now, the return. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. Here's the Arizona offense now as they get set to take over. They've got the lead. Last time had to punt it, though. What's the key to this drive?
I think it's leverage.
Leverage.
Big guys up front. You know the motivational speech on the sideline is, guys, give us an opportunity. Protect the passer, create space for our runners, and let's go ahead and get these guys. Low man wins. Let's go do it on this drive.
We'll watch that leverage on this drive. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. Give him 27 yards that time. And the Cards are going to have a first down. Shift together here from the D-line. Now Bridgewater. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up second down.
When it's well executed, a wide receiver screen can often be a thing of beauty, but so many things have to go right in order to complete it. blocking out in front, timing of the quarterback with the receiver, and oftentimes everything gets set, and guess what? They drop the football.
It's a 5-receiver set, 3 to the left, 2 to the right. On second down, Bridgewater again. Over the middle here to Brown. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a third down. And now it's a 3rd and 4 situation for the offense. To the air again with Bridgewater. Rolling to his right. Now he's going to throw it back deep over the middle. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
Well, they went for the big play there, but that drop could really hurt their momentum.
And Zerline's kick is good. And that right there is something we've seen, I don't know, 15 times in NFL history. That will officially go down as a 60-yard field goal.
And everything has to be absolutely perfect for this to have any chance. He's got to get it out low and really drive through it. And I tell you, that was one heck of a kick. One heck of a decision on the sideline to even try it as well.
Out on the field now, here come the 49ers. And they're hoping to capture some of that magic they had last time out when they were able to put together a scoring drive. But they're still down here, Charles.
Not the major concern, though, because of what you talked about. They scored the last time out. They feel good about themselves. They feel like their game plan is now in effect. They know how to attack and what plays they want to put together. But they've got to keep it moving in the right direction because, as you did note, they are down on the scoreboard.
Now Barkley. On the left side, it's McDonald. They'll give him 8 on the play, and it'll be a second down.
And he's the epitome of what we call the move tight end, a guy that you can line up anywhere, in the slot, out wide, in tight, doesn't really matter because he has such great skills. You want to utilize him in all aspects of your passing offense.
And there he was in the slot for the catch. This one complete, right side to McDonald. Here's Barkley. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back because this is a quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
Ball had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. Here's Bradley Pinion now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. It'll be a 41-yard punt, give them 5 on the return. And the Cardinals, great field position to start this drive as they take over 1st and 10. The Cardinal offense now making their way back out onto the field. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled and hit from distances that we almost start to take them for granted, and we can't do that. That's a long field goal that they got 3 points out of. They've got to feel good about that, and they better make sure they love him up because he's helped them out.
Yeah, now we'll see if that offense can put 6 on the board here. We'll see. And the D-line pinching together must be expecting the run. A second down throw for Bridgewater. He's got time. He's going to float this one deep right side. And this will be caught. And the carnage continues. It's another touchdown.
There's no doubt in my mind.
And do you hear that? Do you hear the...
It's not scales, right? I don't hear scales. Do I actually hear a tune being warbled?
I think the fat lady's humming.
Yeah, she's doing more than humming. She's belting it out right now.
She's going. She's full bore.
Yeah, this thing is flat out finished.
Now after the touchdown, it's Zerline. He'll kick it away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The 49er offense now making their way out onto the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here.
Watch it now, Barney.
Another tote for the afternoon workhorse. It's high. And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a third down.
I don't know about you, partner, but I'm rubbing my eyes after that play. Did we just see that runner not get yardage? A big-time play by the defense. It does happen occasionally, even against the best running backs who are having big days.
Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this.
Good, good. All right, here we go.
7 consonants, 1 vowel. Here's Juszczyk. Just a yard on the run there, and that's going to bring us to a fourth down.
And sometimes it doesn't matter how big and strong and powerful you are. The defense is going to win an occasional battle, and they did on that one. Stopped him well short of picking up a first down.
All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on fourth down. They're going for it.
Here we go. Here we go. No. Jack, Patriot. Here we go now. Green 39. Green 39. Right there in the middle. 55. Pick me up. Here we go.
Got to try it here. He's back to throw. The left side completion to Jones. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And the Cardinals will now take over with excellent field position. Really nice starting field position here for the offensive unit. They try the left side with Johnson. Trying to run inside, but nothing there. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Not a big run on the first play of the drive, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad play. Sometimes you're just trying to settle in, get your guys a little bit of contact, and get things moving.
So what will they do? On the ground, through the air? Let's see. 2nd and 9. Possible run anticipation here as the D-line sandwiches together. On the give, this is their fullback. And he's going to get this one down to the 30. It's a gain of about 3, but it's going to leave him with 3rd and still 7 yards to go.
And that was a good collision right there. And I know this as a former defender. If you're playing linebacker, you're going through a checklist on every play on who you think's going to get the ball and where you think the ball's going to go. Rarely do you expect the fullback position to get it. And on that play he did. So you've got to steal.
Nowhere to turn here, and he's going to go down. Back at about the 37-yard line. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. 0 accountability, and a sack resulted.
A road win in the National Football League. Charles, you never take that for granted, no matter who you're playing, no matter where you're playing.
You take it and you run with it. And you know you primed the pump all week in your own home facility. No one thinks we can do this. Only people who believe are right here in this room. And then you go on the road, band together, and get it done.
So for the Cardinals, they're on a nice early roll as they move to 3-1 with a win here. And they'll have another road date next week with the New York Giants. Meanwhile, for San Francisco, it was a good first month, but they'll fall to 4-1 as they suffer their first loss. And they'll look to get back in the winning column next week as they head to Philly to face off with the Eagles. So that'll do it. For my partner, Charles Davis, and the best darn crew in the industry, I'm Brandon Gaudin. This has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. With that, we say so long from Santa Clara.
The Redskins are now on the clock. Let's go to Adam Schefter now, who's got more to say about the Redskins' latest pick.
He's a durable lineman who set a team record for consecutive starts, never missing a game throughout a decorated 4-year college career. Ross Tucker praised his footwork leading up to the Combine, where he did not disappoint, solidifying his position as the draft's top offensive line prospect. He has the potential to be the cornerstone of this offensive line for years to come and should provide consistent protection for a franchise quarterback. This is a great pick.
The Bengals are now on the clock. Our very own Adam Schefter has more to say about this pick.
There are some experts who are ready to dismiss his high production in college since he never faced a top-tier defensive back. So finally, at the All-Star game, he was matched against one of the top defenders in the draft, and he came away looking very good. He was tightly covered all day, but that didn't stop him from hauling in several impressive catches. He solidified his position in the draft with that game, and now that he's been drafted, his new quarterback has to be excited to work with him in training camp.
Adam, what can you tell us about the Raiders' newest player?
No receiver put on a greater show at his pro day than he did. His former coach told me he purposefully had the quarterback throw the ball away from his body during passing drills. It forced him to react to the ball, extend for it, and make some spectacular catches. If he can make those same catches with NFL-caliber defenders covering him, he has the potential to be a dangerous weapon, and that's exactly what the team is hoping for.
Eagles have made their selection. For more about him, let's go to Adam Schefter.
Sources have told me that it was his impressive college All-Star Game MVP performance that solidified his positioning as one of the most sought-after defensive backs in this year's draft. He has a nose for the football and a willingness to attack the ball as it's in the air. Instincts are a trait that simply can't be taught, and many draft experts have compared him to a young Deion Sanders. If there's one knock on him that I consistently hear, it's that he needs to work on his tackling mechanics and strength. One scout even showed me film where he was shown struggling to bring down bigger backs and receivers one-on-one. He'll be meeting with a team nutritionist and strength coaches in the coming week as his new coaching staff feels that if they can bulk him up a bit, he'll win those battles.
The Lions are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. Now that the Broncos have made their pick, let's go to Adam Schefter for more.
Every running back that played against him hated the experience as he netted the most tackles for a loss of any player this year and setting a new school record along the way. As Matt Miller put it, he has a knack for watching the ball, never being fooled by the play action, and getting to the ball carrier in the backfield. He had the ability to single-handedly shut down an opponent's rushing attack in school, but we'll see if that translates to the NFL.
The Ravens are now on the clock. Now that the Ravens have made their pick, let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about him.
A high-flying, hard-hitting defensive back, he was the subject of much criticism earlier this year after being unable to put together consistent performances week to week. Consistency doesn't even do the roller coaster of emotions he went through justice. A better description may have been puzzling. After turning in an exceptional performance in week 1 with 2 picks, he was downright terrible in week 2, being burned for 3 touchdowns. Week 3 saw him force a fumble and return it for a touchdown, and then week 4 saw him get beat on plays that led to critical scores and a close loss. The pendulum continued to swing both ways throughout the entire year, prompting one scout I spoke with to nickname him the Enigma. This pick could have a huge upside, providing this coaching staff has the patience for him to develop into a much more consistent player.
The Falcons are now on the clock. The Falcons have just picked up Cousins. Adam, what can you tell us about him?
Matt Miller and a number of other scouts told me he was their favorite offensive lineman to watch at the All-Star game. Following a great senior year, he came into All-Star week looking like one of the better lineman prospects this year. And right from the start, the coaches challenged him using blitz packages and other stunts to see how he would react. He handled everything that was thrown at him and not once looked overwhelmed or gassed from the extra attention. Todd McShay tells me he looked like a dominant force on the line, keeping the quarterback clean and opening holes for the tailback to run through. He should be a great fit on this team's offensive line and possibly a day one starter.
The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. All right, now that the pick's in, let's go to Adam. Adam, what can you tell us about this guy?
The IQ test is perhaps one of the most controversial tools used to measure a player's aptitude during the combine. Even so, there are several NFL franchises that place significant value in the results, which is exactly why when this kid scores a 14, heads turned and he found himself losing ground in several experts' mocks. Most GMs want to see a player score in the 20s, but history has shown us that several of the greats, like Marino and McNabb, have scored below this threshold. Scouts I've talked to have praised his football IQ, specifically his ability to learn the playbook and dissect opposition schemes. These traits should serve him well at the next level, though several players with these traits have failed in the past due to the complex nature of the NFL compared to college. Training camp and the preseason are going to be huge for him, and the results, be they positive or negative, will no doubt add fuel to the raging debate over the use of IQ test as a judge of player intelligence.
Oh, so McGrath is now off the board. Adam, what do you think?
The foundation of any good team starts up front, and here's a guy who's a franchise's dream come true. GMs I talked to pointed to several of his games in college where he took on some of the nation's best defensive linemen, going toe-to-toe with them for 60 minutes of brutal trench combat and dominating them. He's going to be able to protect the franchise quarterback in addition to opening up holes for the run game. With size, speed, and strength, he should have a very successful NFL career.
All right, team is now off the clock. Adam Schefter, can you tell us about their newest player?
He was always a player who cared about academics, and that couldn't have been made any more clear when he decided to forego his senior season in order to take on more classes. His goal was to graduate before entering the NFL draft, and at the sacrifice of his final year of football eligibility, he was able to pull it off. The decision left some experts scratching their heads, but guys like Matt Miller saw it as a smart move to stay injury-free and remove the distraction.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. Adam, what can you tell us about that last pick?
He's a Heisman-winning defender. Let me say that one more time. He won the Heisman, and he's a defensive player. Need I say more? You can imagine how well he played this season to win the biggest award in college over several offensive playmakers. The trophy was well-deserved, and according to Matt Miller, he projects really well as a defender in the NFL. I think this is a home run pick, and it's great to see a defender get some well-deserved recognition.
Pick's been made. Let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about the player.
A fundamentally sound offensive lineman whose last collegiate season was ended prematurely by a nasty ankle injury, he's a guy who has the potential to become a centerpiece on the line for years to come. If there's one point of contention about him, it's that after talking to several of my sources, there's a significant worry about the strength of his surgically repaired right ankle. The original injury happened when the ankle appeared to buckle while he was not engaged, raising some serious questions about leg strength. He's been known as a bit of a power lifter with exceptional upper body strength, leading some strength coaches to openly question if this explosive lifting is putting additional stress on his leg joints. He looked good at the combine with excellent lateral movement pushing off the ankle in question. We probably won't know how well that ankle holds up until about a year from now after he's been through the rigors of an entire NFL season.
All right, let's go to Adam Schefter, who's got more on this pick.
He was once regarded as the top quarterback in the draft, but a string of poor performances and a losing season had teams questioning his original position on their boards. He seemed to get in a rut this season, making several critical mistakes while reading coverage that led to interceptions. Once in the rut, he was never able to pull himself out of it, with scouts expressing concern with his accuracy and decision-making abilities. Apparently, these concerns were not enough to keep him from being drafted. GMs either turned a blind eye to his play this year, or they see something in him that others don't right now. This is an interesting pickup.
The Cowboys are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. Let's go to Adam Schefter now, who's got more to say about the Browns' latest pick.
Well, he hasn't gotten a lot of attention from the media. His name has been circulating around the front offices the past few weeks. To find out why, I spoke with Matt Miller. He told me his performance at the Combine caused them to go back and look at his game film one more time. And what they found was his team made a scheme change in his final season that forced him to shift to a new role he wasn't exactly comfortable in. To draw a comparison, they looked at his first 3 seasons before the change, and he looked like a much different player. The speed and level he played at matched what they saw him do back at Indy. He rose up draft boards across the league, and they're very lucky to have picked him up before anyone else could.
The Bills are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. Falcons pick is in. Adam, give us the rundown.
Well, he had a brief scare in the offseason, and I'm sure it scared a few teams out there as well. The combine ended abruptly for him after an undisclosed heart condition was discovered during a routine medical exam. Officials held him out of workouts and asked that he consult a specialist. Unable to perform any drills, he did stay at Indy and interviewed with each team. Following the combine, he visited a specialist and had surgery to correct the issue. I spoke with his agent, who was confident that it was an abnormal circumstance, and he assured me it wouldn't affect his play. Clearly, the GM was not concerned with this incident either.
The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. They've just picked up Tanner. What's the latest on him, Adam?
It's unfortunate to see a player recovering from an injury only to have it happen again, especially in an exhibition game. It was one of the rare times I've seen a brutal injury at the annual All-Star game between future NFL players. He took a hit that tore his ACL a second time in less than a year. That kind of injury history might scare away most teams, but it didn't scare away this team from drafting him. I've been told by his agent he's still recovering from the surgery, but he should be ready to play for training camp.
The Bengals are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. Now that Thomas is off the board, Adam, what do you have on him?
With this pick, we see a tremendous physical talent that fell out of favor with many teams based on reports that he struggled memorizing his playbook. These struggles were cited as contributing to several key mistakes in late season losses. A 3.7 grade point average student studying humanities, the explanation for his lack of football knowledge was puzzling to many of the scouts and GMs I spoke to. Other sources have told me that if the reports of his playbook struggles are indeed true, it may be more of a reflection of his previous coaching staff than his mental work ethic. They feel that making the jump to the NFL provides a clean learning slate for him. I expect his new coaching staff to bring him along slowly, and because of that, I wouldn't expect to see him getting any immediate on-field action until he demonstrates a mastery of the playbook.
The Ravens are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Saints have made their selection. For more about him, let's go to Adam Schefter.
He had one of the worst pro days you could have for a defensive lineman. One coach put him through a series of drills, but halfway through you could clearly see him beginning to tire. According to Matt Miller, he looked considerably tired in the second half of the day and took frequent breaks. At the moment, he doesn't look like an every down lineman. He's really going to need to work on his conditioning to make it through an entire NFL season.
The Cowboys are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock.
Rams have just made their pick. Adam, what can you tell us about him?
The biggest red flag for him came during the combine, where he turned in one of the slower times in the pass rush drill. As Matt Miller put it, his hands looked okay, but he lacked the proper bend and release around the corner you'd like to see out of a defensive lineman. He may not have a lot of success as an edge rusher in the league if he can't get off blocks. The team might use him more as an interior rusher, but we'll see what happens when he gets on the field.
The Giants are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock.